Hi and welcome everyone to this Hatha yoga class. Today we will going to focus on back bends. So get ready, let's step on our mats and let's begin. Before we begin, I actually want to say a couple of things about the back bend. So what you never want to feel is pain, usually in the lower back. So whenever you feel that, back off a little bit. So do not just hinge back to get into your back bend. Actually, opposite is the case. You want to lift up your chest and create space in your spine. So imagine you want to bring your chest up to the ceiling whenever you do a back bend. At the same time, you also want to push forward your pelvis. So you have pushing forwards your pelvis and you're lifting up your chest to the ceiling. Alright, so this is the motion you want to have. And whenever you again feel that it's too much for you in your back, you back off a little bit. Okay, you shouldn't really feel any pain whatsoever and really think of lengthening your spine. Something else in this regard is you may see me going farther than it's possible for you. So feel your own body and see what is possible. If something is too much, then just don't go that deep. I'm doing that for a little longer maybe than you, so just take care of your own body. So without further ado, let's start with our sun salutations. Your feet are closed, legs are engaged, belly button inside, pelvic floor engaged. Inhale, lift up your arms, and now try already to lean back by first lifting up your chest. And then exhale, come back to center and forward fold. Inhale, lift up your chest and step back with your right foot. Bring your right knee onto the ground and exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, lift up your arms. Exhale, if you want to, you go deeper into this back bend here as well. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, place your hands on the ground. Inhale, step back into plank position. Exhale, knees, chest and chin to the ground. And then inhale, shift forward into cobra position. Lift only out of your back. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from there, inhale, step forward with your right foot, left knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, arms above your head. Exhale, go into the back bend if you want to. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up all the way, arms above your head if you want to, back bend. And then you come back to center, exhale, arms down. Next round, inhale, arms above your head if you want to go into the back bend. And then you come back to center, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up your chest, step back with your right foot, right knee onto the ground. Exhale, come up. Inhale, lift up your arms. Exhale, back bend if you want to. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, arms on the ground. Inhale, step back into plank. Exhale, knees, chin and chest to the ground. From there, with your inhalation, shift forward into your cobra position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step forward with your right foot, left knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, lift up your arms. Exhale, if you want to, back bend. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the ground. Inhale, step together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up all the way, arms above your head. If you want to, again, bring your chest up to the ceiling. Back bend. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arms down. Now we're going to stay in each position a little longer. Inhale, lift up your arms, gaze towards your thumb, and we stay here. If you want to, again, you can go into your back bend by lifting up your chest to the ceiling and pushing your hip forward. Keep breathing. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. You can choose which forward fold you want to take. Try to have a straight spine here. You can also bring your hands onto your shins or your thighs, or you can bend your knees if you want to. Engage your belly button, engage your pelvic floor. Your neck is long and relaxed. Inhale, lift up your chest, step back with your left leg, left knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, arms above your head, and exhale. If you want to, you go into the back bend. Push your hip forward and your chest up to the ceiling. Feel the opening on the left side of your hip. Try to keep your right heel on the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the ground. Step back into plank position with your inhale. Try to keep your back straight. So push your rib cage inwards, your belly button inwards as well. And push back into your heels. Keep breathing. Exhale, knees, chin and chest to the ground. Try to keep your hands below your shoulders and your elbows close to your body. And with your inhalation, you shift forward into your cobra position. Your toes are pointed, the heels are together, your legs are engaged. Your hands are still below your shoulders and your elbows are close to your body. Then tuck your toes under. Exhale, get into a downward facing dog with your feet hip width apart. Your heels are reaching towards the ground, but do not have to touch the ground. Your fingers are spread wide, and you distribute your weight evenly into your hands. Shoulders away from your ears. Straight arms. Pelvic floor is engaged. Pull your belly button inside. Inhale, step forward with your left leg, right knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, arms above your head. Exhale, lean backwards if you want to. So chest to the ceiling and your hip drives forwards. Feel the opening now on the right side of your hip. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the ground. Inhale, step together with your feet. And exhale, forward fold. Again, you can choose whatever type of forward fold you prefer. But try to really keep a straight back here with your neck relaxed. If you want to and your legs are straight already, you can also shift your weight forward into your toes. Inhale, come up all the way, arms above your head. Exhale, back bend. So lift up your chest and push your hip forwards. Keep breathing. Find the space in your back. Strong legs. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, slowly bring your hands down. We'll do one more round. Inhale, lift up your arms, gaze towards your thumb. Exhale, if you want to, you again do a little back bend here by pushing your chest towards the ceiling and your hip forwards. Keep your pelvic floor engaged. Pull your belly button inside. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, arms down and forward fold. Once more, choose the version of the forward fold that is good for you. You want to keep your upper body relatively relaxed while you still want to feel this pull below your navel. So drive your navel towards your spine. Engage your pelvic floor. Inhale, lift up your chest, step back with your left leg, left knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, back bend. Keep pushing your hip forward. Your right heel stays on the ground. Elongate your spine. Find space in your spine. Keep breathing. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the ground. Inhale, step back into plank position. Your pubic bone is also pushing towards your navel. Your rib cage is inside. Also push out of your shoulder blades to not drop between your shoulders. Exhale, knees, chin and chest to the ground. If this is too much, then just increase the distance between your hip and your knee by shifting your upper body forward. Keep breathing. And then inhale, shift forward into your cobra. Lift only out of your back muscles. Engage your back of your body from your back into your toes. Breathe. And tuck your toes under. Get into a downward facing dog with your exhalation. Long back. Try to get your arms in one line with your back. Your belly button pulls inside. Your pelvic floor is engaged. The neck is relaxed. Feel the stretch in the back of your body. And then inhale, step forward with your left leg, right knee onto the ground. Exhale, lift up your upper body. Inhale, arms above your head. Exhale, if you want to, once more get into your back bend by driving your hip forward and lifting up your chest to the ceiling. Find the space in your spine. Breathe. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the ground. Inhale, step together. And exhale, forward fold. Remember, you want to have a straight spine here with a relaxed neck. If you want to, you can bring your weight forward into your toes. And inhale, lift up your upper body, arms above your head. Exhale, back bend. Push your hips forward, lift up your chest. Elongate your spine, strong legs. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, slowly bring your arms down. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then we start with our standing postures. Step back with your left leg. Bring your foot in a 45-degree angle, heel to heel. Open your hips with your inhalation. Lift up your arms on shoulder height. Exhale, bend over the right side. Try to keep your hips stacked above each other. If you're going too low and you realize that your left hip is dropping down, then you went too far. So focus on stacking your hips above each other. And you want to push your upper hip back and your lower hip forward. That will help you to stack your hips above each other. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, lift up your upper body. Exhale, step back together at the top of your mat. You repeat on the other side. Step back with your right leg. Bring your right foot in a 45-degree angle. Open your hips with your inhalation. Exhale, bend over your left leg. Again, try to keep your hips stacked above each other. Your right arm is straight, pointing up. to the sky, to the ceiling. Your gaze is towards your right hand. Try to elongate your spine and also try to keep your legs straight. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, step back together. Again, step back with your left leg, but now take a wider stance. Your left foot is again in a 45-degree angle. Open your hips, lift up your arms and shoulder height. Exhale, bend your right knee and place your elbow onto your thigh. You want to bring now your left arm above your head. Try to push your right knee to the outside. And again, try to stack your hips above each other. Push the outside of your left foot into the ground. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, step back together at the top of your mat. Repeat on the other side. Step back with your right foot. Get into a wide stance. Lift up your arms with your inhalation. Exhale, bend your left knee. Place your arm onto your thigh and bring your right arm above your head. Push your left knee to the outside and stack your hips above each other. You want to expose your whole right side to the ceiling. Feel the stretch from the heel into the fingertips. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, step back together at the top of your mat. Again, take a big step back with your left leg. Now keep your left heel up and bring your hands on the inside of your right foot. Try to keep your left leg as straight as possible. And you want to push your hip down and forward. So we want to open our hip here once more. You also want to lift up your chest, so you push your chest forward. Keep your spine long. And then from there you get up with your inhalation and step back together at the top of your mat with your exhalation. Onto the other side, step back with your right foot, your heel is up, and place your palms at the inside of your left foot. Try to keep your right leg completely straight. Allow your hip to open and keep a long spine here. Breathe. Inhale. Slowly come back up and exhale. Step back together at the top of your mat. Step back with your left leg. Bring your left knee onto the ground and get into a deep lunge. With your right leg, try to keep your right knee above your right ankle this time. And in this position, try now to grab your left foot, your ankle or foot, whatever you can reach. And you want to push your foot into your hand while you're driving your hip forward. It's really a nice stretch for our upper leg and also for our hip flexor once more. Keep breathing. And with your exhalation, you can release your foot. With your inhalation, you come back up and exhale, step back together at the top of your mat. On to the other side, get into this deep lunge. Now with your right leg back, keep your left knee above your left ankle, and then grab your right foot and keep pushing into your hand. So you don't want to get your heel closer to your bum, but farther away by pushing into your hand. Allow your hip still to drive forward to open up your hip even a little bit more. And then exhale, release your foot, inhale, come back up and exhale, step together at the top of your mat. We're again going to get in a lunge position, so step back with your left leg, but now it's a high lunge. Your heel is pointing upwards. And now we want to go into a back bend here as well. Lift up your arms gaze towards your thumb. And exhale, you want to get into your back bend. So drive your hip forward and your chest up to the ceiling. Try to keep your left leg as straight as possible. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, step back together at the top of your mat. And now we want to go over to the other side. Step back with your right leg and get into the lunge position with your heel pointing up. Your upper body's upright. Inhale, lift up your arms. And with your exhalation, you want to get into your back bend by pushing your hip forward and shifting your chest up to the ceiling. Keep breathing. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, step together at the top of your mat. Of course, we will also do some balancing postures, and we will start with our tree pose. I'll start with the left leg as standing leg. As always, you can just keep your right toes touching the ground, so it doesn't matter if you're not able to lift up your leg higher. If you can either choose to put your right foot onto your lower leg or even onto your upper leg, but do not put it onto your knee. Of course. Then you want to try to get your right knee in one line with your hips. You can play around with the positioning of your hands. You can either keep them in your waist or in front of your chest in prayer position. And if all of this is too easy, then of course you can also close your eyes. And exhale, release. Onto the other side. You want to lift up your left leg as high as you can and place it somewhere on your lower leg or upper leg. Pushing your left knee now to the outside so that your knee gets in one line with your hips. Again, also try not to forget to breathe. And exhale, release. Now we're going to do something else, a back bend as well. I start with my left leg as a standing leg once more. So with your right hand, your palm is facing upwards, and then you try to grab your foot or your ankle from the inside. Let your knee point downwards, and then as we did before, you try to push into your hand. You can straighten out your left arm, so give you something to focus on. And then you try to push your chest forward while you keep on pushing your foot into your hand. You can try to lift up your leg as well, but that's not so important. Keep breathing. Also, if you manage, try to keep your hip parallel to the ground. Exhale, release. You're going to the other side. So now you try to grab your left ankle or foot from the inside with your palm facing upwards. Once more, you can straighten out your right arm to give you something to focus on. And then you start kicking into your left hand. Open up your chest. You want to feel like a bow that is opening up. And once more, if you can, try to keep your hip parallel to the ground. Exhale, release. So we are done with our standing postures. We will start getting down onto the mat. We will do that with our little sun salutation. Inhale, lift up your arms, gaze towards your thumb. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up your chest, and exhale, jump or walk back so that you get into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And because we're focusing on our back bends, we stay here. Push your chest forward and up. Your bum is relaxed while your legs are engaged. Breathe. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch out here a little bit. And then shift forward with your inhalation into Chaturanga and all the way down to the ground. We'll do some exercises for our back. We will start first with our upper body and then we will do our legs. So straighten out your arms and keep them on shoulder width. Try also to really keep your elbows completely straight. And then inhale, lift up your chest, lift up your arms. Feel the length into your fingertips. Keep breathing. Try to raise your arms as high as possible. Keep them on shoulder width. And exhale, release. You can grab onto your elbows, form a little pillow, and relax your head onto your arms. So next we will lift up our legs. Try to already engage your legs, so do not bend your knees. Try to really keep your legs completely straight. Inhale, lift up your legs. You can also think of driving your hips forward again so that you feel how your hip bones are pushing into the ground. Extend into your toes. Breathe. And exhale, release. You can shake out your hip a little bit if you want to. The next one is actually one of my favorites, although I do not do it that often. So you want to bring your hands behind your back and interlace your fingers. Try to keep your palms together. And then with your inhalation, you want to lift up your chest and push your hands away from your shoulders. And the more you push your hands away, the easier it is to lift up your chest. Keep breathing. Feel the energy in your arms. Just a little longer and exhale, slowly release. You can again form a pillow with your arms and rest your head on this little pillow. For the next one, you want to bring your arms and hands below your body with your palms facing down. So you really have to bring your arms close together, otherwise your hip bones will be on your arms and that is rather uncomfortable. If this is too uncomfortable for you, you can keep your arms on the outside and only your hands inside. So you can try around it a little bit how it is possible for you. And then you straighten your legs, and with your inhalation you lift up your legs and we hold it here. Keep breathing. Push as high as possible. You really also want to feel your back muscles engaging here. Breathe. Just a little longer. And exhale, release. Also, you can release your arms, bring them to the side again. Relax. Next we will do bow pose, but we will prepare for this a little bit. We will first start with the right side. So you try to bend your right leg and grab your right foot or your ankle, whatever you can reach. Now your thumb is facing down. And then, just as we did already before, You are pushing into your right hand and try to lift up your leg as well, while your chest is once more driving forward. You really want to feel like a bow that is kind of spreading here, long upper body, feel the space. And exhale, release. We go immediately to the other side, so grab onto your left ankle or onto your toes or foot, whatever you can reach, and then inhale, start pushing into your left hand, lift up your chest, drive your chest forward, breathe. And exhale, release. You want to relax here a little bit again before we go to the full posture. If the full posture is too much for you, you can split it up and do once more left and right side separately. So if you do the full posture, you want to bend your knees and grab your toes or your ankles, whatever you can reach. Try to keep your toes together at least, if you can. So try that. And then inhale, start pushing into your hands, lift up your chest, and also try to lift up your legs. But mostly think of pushing back into your hands to open your chest, feel the opening in the front of your body. Breathe. And exhale, slowly release. Form a little pillow with your arms and relax a little bit. And now bring your palms next to your chest, tuck your toes under, and get up into Chaturanga. And from there in upward facing dog and in downward facing dog. Next we're going to do pigeon pose. I will start with my right side. So you bring your right knee up and to the outside of the mat. So turn your knee to the outside and place your shin diagonal onto your mat. And from there you try to sit down. So make sure that you're not turning to the right side with your hip, but that you stay in the middle. It doesn't matter if your hip doesn't really touch the ground. And then if it feels comfortable for you, we want to start with something relaxing and just go forward, do a little forward fold here. You can place your forehead onto the ground. Stay here in this little stretch. Keep breathing. And then from here, with your inhalation, you come back up with your upper body. And you want to get your upper body as upright as possible. You can push yourself back with your hands. You can either place your hands on the ground or even with your right hand onto your right leg if this feels good for you. So try to open up your left hip here. You want to push your left hip forward and lift up your upper body. So either you stay here or now you try to bend your left leg and catch your left foot or your toes. You either keep pushing your leg into your hand, or if it's possible for you, you try to get your heel closer to your bum. So you push your foot close to your butt. Try to stay upright and keep your left hip pushing forward. And exhale, slowly release. We will go on to the other side. So tuck your left toes under, push yourself back up into a downward facing dog. And then we will do the same thing with our left leg. So bring your left knee close to your chest and then turn it to the outside so that your lower leg gets diagonal onto the mat. Shift back. And then from there you try to lean forward. Again, make sure that you're now not turning to the left side, but you stay parallel to the ground with your hip. You can place again your forehead onto the ground. If this is too much, of course, you can stay on your forearms, for example, and try to relax there. So wherever you get, try to get as deep as possible, but try to stay in a comfortable state still. Inhale, lift your upper body up. And again, you want to get as upright as possible. Push yourself back with your hands. Choose the distance that is right for you. So you can even place your hands next to your legs or even onto your left leg if that feels good for you. Or you keep them farther away. Try to again lift your upper body up and push your right hip forward to feel the opening on the right side. Again, either you stay here or you bend your right leg and try to catch your toes or your heel. And if it's possible, you try to get your right foot, your right heel closer to your bum by pushing it with your arm closer to your butt. And again, try to keep your right hip pushing forward, so do not start leaning to the left side. And still keep your upper body as upright as possible, lifting your chest up to the ceiling. Keep breathing. And exhale, slowly release. Again, you tuck your toes under and push yourself back up into a downward facing dog. From there, you simply bring your knees to the ground, and then I will give you two different variations. Either you also bring your chin and chest to the ground with your hands below your shoulders. This is like we did in the sun salutations. If it's too much, of course, you just shift forward with your hip. Or if you want to, you straighten out your arms in front of you, and then you try to bring your head to the ground. But if you do this, you should try to keep your hip above your knees. If possible, you can try to even reach your chest with your chest to the ground, but then your chin will get to the ground. But be careful if you want to do this. This should not hurt in your shoulders. So if this is uncomfortable in your shoulders, you went too far, and I again ask you to back off a little bit here. Keep breathing. And then you shift back up into our downward facing dog, where you can stretch out your back. And then from there, you can hop forward in between your hands and sit on your heels. Next, we will do a preparation for our camel pose. For that, I'll ask you to get onto your knees, and your knees are hip width apart. And first you want to activate your pelvic floor and push your hip forward, your navel draws inside, and you lift up your chest. So remember this movement, you want to open up your front body. Do not just hinge back, but push your hip forward and your chest up. And then place your hands above your butt and you push your hip forward with the help of your hands and extend your chest to the ceiling. And this is how we're going to prepare for camel pose. Do not go too deep and do not forget to breathe. If you want to, you can also try to push your knees into the ground. If at any point this is getting too much for you, then simply slowly get out of the posture. Inhale, slowly come back up and sit onto your heels. Take some deep breaths. For the next one, we will already go in our camel pose. If this is too much, then just repeat what we already did before. So do not go farther than is good for you. If this feels uncomfortable in your spine, please do not go that far. Inhale, get onto your knees. Again, we are hip width apart. It is a little bit easier if you tuck your toes under because then your heels are higher, so you can go for that variation. But remember, you do not just want to fall back, but you want to first lift up and also push your hip forward. So don't forget, you're not just reaching back, but rather you reach up and forward. So inhale, push your hip forward and your chest up to the ceiling. And from there, you try to grab your heels. If you have your heels, then do not just lean back into your heels, but you want to push yourself back up to create this space in your spine. So you want to push your chest up to the ceiling and push your hip forward. Do not forget to breathe. Stay a little longer. If it's too much, you can already, of course, get out of this posture. And inhale, slowly come up. And exhale, sit back down onto your heels. Take some deep breaths. And bring your hands next to your knees and push yourself back up into a downward facing dog. Once more, stretch out your back here. You can also bend your knees, of course, if you want to. Feel the length in your spine. And from there you can walk or jump forward in between your hands, and we would do a little forward fold. Also here, if you want to, you can bend your knees. Try to lengthen your spine here. I also went for stretching out my neck a little bit by bringing my interlaced fingers just before my head onto my neck and allowing the weight to pull my head down. And from there, once more, we will go back into Chaturanga and an inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your knees onto the ground and we'll go into child's pose. You see, we started with kind of going in the opposite direction, slowly stretching out our back again. You can either keep your hands in front of you in child's pose, or if you prefer, you bring your hands next to your body. Allow your back to lengthen here as well. Feel the space when we move in the opposite direction. If you have your hands in front of you, you can also try to get space by pushing your hip back and reaching forward into your fingertips. And slowly get back up into our downward facing dog. And from there we step once more in between our hands and exhale, sit down, straighten out your legs. Next we will do a little twist. I will start by lifting up my right leg and bringing my foot next to my hip, a little bit outside of my hip. And I keep my left leg completely engaged and my toes flexed. And then I inhale, lengthen my spine, exhale. I move over to the right side and try to bring my shoulder close to my right knee. My left arm is behind my hip. And I keep pushing with my arm against my knee and with my knee against my arm to keep some activation in this torsion. I really want to feel my back muscles here. My gaze is over my right shoulder. Keep breathing and keep elongating your spine with every inhale. And then you look forward with your inhalation, exhale, release. You go on to the other side, bring your left leg close to your hip but slightly outside. Inhale, elongate your spine, exhale, rotate over to the left side, bringing your right shoulder close to your left knee. Once more, try to stay active in this posture by pushing with your arm against your knee and with your knee against your arm. You also want to think of starting this rotation from the lower leg already. So think of bringing your belly button to the left side. Breathe. And inhale, look forward, exhale, release. Next we will get into a straddle position. Again, keep your legs engaged and your feet flexed. First you bring your left hand close to your right leg or even onto your right thigh. Then inhale, lift up your right arm and exhale, bend over to the left side, but you want to get your shoulder, your left shoulder in front of your left leg. Try to reach forward with your right hand. If you can also reach for your toes, but this is not necessary. Rather think of this twist, so bringing your shoulder forward, your left shoulder forward, and elongating your spine. Gaze is up to the ceiling. Inhale, slowly lift yourself up and then exhale. You go to the other side, bring your right hand to your left leg or onto your left thigh. And then inhale, lift up your left arm, exhale, go down over to your right leg, bringing your right shoulder in front of your right knee. Reach with your left hand as far as you can. If possible, you can also reach for your toes, but once more, this is not necessary. Rather, work on the twist, so try to bring your right shoulder in front of your right knee. As always, don't forget to breathe and lengthen your spine. Inhale, slowly come back up and then exhale. Stay in the straddle position and then inhale, lengthen your spine, exhale, rotate over to the left side. And now inhale once more, get length in your spine and exhale, bend over, but now with your navel over your left thigh. So now you want to keep your upper body straight. You can If you want to again reach to your toes, but that's not necessary, you can also keep your hands next to your left leg. Work on lengthening your spine with every inhalation. Don't forget to keep the tension in your legs. Keep your feet flexed. And inhale, slowly come back up. Exhale, get to center. We'll move to the other side. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, move over to the right side. Inhale, lengthen your spine once more, and exhale, bend forward over your right leg with your navel aiming towards your right thigh. Keep your legs engaged, your feet are flexed. Elongate your spine. Breathe. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, get to the center. Stay in the straddled position. We will now do a normal forward fold with the straddled leg position. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend forward. You can either keep your hands in front of you on the ground, or if that's possible for you, you aim for your toes, for your feet actually, but on the outside. So try to get your feet from the outside when you bend forward. But that's not necessary. You can also keep your hands in front of you on the ground. You want to get down with a straight spine. So with your navel first aiming to the ground. Keep your legs engaged and make sure that your feet are not turning inwards. So push your legs, your feet back. Inhale, slowly lift back up, and exhale, bring your legs together in front of you. For the last seated posture, you want to bring your feet together with your knees falling to the outside. Try to bring your heels as close as possible to your hip, while you still want to be able to sit upright. If you realize that this is not possible for you, then move your heels further away. You can take hold of your toes to help you sitting upright. Remember to push your shoulder blades down and together. If you want to, you can also lean forward, but remember you want to have a straight spine. I now here went for sitting straight up, also because I have a knee injury and it's not good for me. The same is true for you. Do not go farther than is good for you. Of course, if you can lean forward, go ahead. Inhale, lengthen your spine or get back up, and exhale, release. And then you can lie down onto your back. For the finishing sequence, we will also do some back bends. We will start with the shoulder bridge, and then we will do the bridge. If the full bridge is too much for you, you repeat the shoulder bridge. So first you want to get your heels close to your hip, but slightly outside of your hip. If you can, you want to reach for your ankles. If not, that's no problem. And then shift your weight into your heels and slowly lift up your hip. You want to keep your knees above your ankles, so do not allow your knees to move to the outside. Your chest wants to move closer to your chin. Try to push your knees above your ankles and back. That will also help you to bring your upper body closer to your chin. And exhale, slowly release. We will repeat this one more time. So bring your weight back into your heels and inhale, lift up your hip. Remember, you want to keep your knees together and pushing towards your head. Try to relax your butt muscles while you really want to feel the engagement in your back and also in your legs. And exhale, slowly release. Now we'll go through bridge pose. If this is too much for you, then repeat what we just did. We start the same way with our heels next to our hips, but then I like to extend my arms behind my head first to feel the length in my upper body and open up my shoulders. And then I bring my palms behind my shoulders with my fingers pointing towards my shoulders. I push my elbows together, and then I also bring my weight into my heels, push into my hand. First you can, if you want to, bring your head onto the ground, and from there you push yourself up. Then if you push yourself up, try to get your weight above your hands and not too much in your feet. Also think of relaxing your butt muscles here and straighten out your arms completely if that's possible for you. Work on lengthening here, feel the stretch in your front body. And exhale, bring your chin to your chest and slowly get down onto your back again. Then you can bring your knees to your chest and relax here a little bit. Next we will do our shoulder stand. If this is too much for you, do not get that far. The alternative is stretching out your legs straight up to the ceiling. Keep your hands left and right of your body and just stay like this. If it's okay for you, if your neck is fine with it, you can move further and lift up your hip, and you can either bring your hands above your hip or in your lower back. Also here you want to try to bring your chest closer to your chin, and if possible your fingers should be pointing upwards. Try to form a straight line so your toes want to be above your hip, not above your head. Keep breathing here. If you realize at any point it's too much for your neck, please slowly get out of the posture. With your exhalation, you want to bring your feet behind your head. If possible, your toes are touching the ground, your feet are together. Try to lift up your bum, so you want to have a straight back rather, and still keep pushing with your chest closer to your chin. You can also interlace your fingers and push your hands and arms down to the mat. If your toes are not touching the ground, then please keep your hands in your lower back. To get out of the posture, press with your hands into the ground to slowly roll down. Try to not lift up with your shoulder girdle and your head. And then also to lower your legs, try to engage your belly muscles and also your butt muscles to not lift up with your lower back when you lower your legs down. If you realize that you're still lifting up with your lower back, then bend your knees and get down like that without hurting your lower back. For our last posture, you can choose to either bring your hands below your butt. You have to bend your legs, of course, for that, and then you extend your legs again. Or if you're very safe and secure in that posture already, you can also keep your hands next to your body. And then you want to bring your weight into your elbows to lift up your upper body and get into a back bend. So once more, you want to push your chest away from you up to the ceiling. And then if it's possible for you, you want to bring the crown of your head to the ground. If the crown is reaching to the ground, then please do not release the tension, but keep the tension in your back muscles and even in your arms. If you're very safe and secure in that posture, you can try to release your arms and first place them onto your legs. And if this is also fine for you, you can cross them over your chest. If you had your hands away from the ground, then bring them back to the ground. In any case, push back into the ground with your elbows and hands to release your head. And then find a comfortable position on your back. We have reached our final relaxation, our Shavasana. Your feet are falling apart, your arms are next to your body, and your palms are facing upwards. And now allow yourself, with every exhalation, to sink deeper into the ground. Allow your muscles to relax more and more. You also want to calm down your mind. And that means whenever a thought comes up, you want to take note of your thought, observe this thought for a moment, and then you allow the thought to be released again. So you simply allow your thoughts to come and go without getting attached to them. And between of your thoughts, you can focus on your breath and observe how your breath is entering your body and how your breath is leaving your body. Slowly start moving your body again. Do whatever movement that feels right for you. Maybe you want to stretch out, or you just want to wiggle with your fingers and toes, or turn your head to the left and to the right. And whenever you're ready, you turn to the right and stay there for a little longer. With the help of your left hand, you push yourself up and get into a seated position. Thank you very much for following along this Hatha yoga class on backbends. I really hope you enjoyed it. If so, then I would appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up. And do not forget to follow my channel so you do not miss out on any other content that I provide. For now, I say Servus!